I wrote a quote every single day for 6 months straight. This is what I learned from it. So I was moving to a completely new country for an entire university semester, and I really wanted to remember every single aspect of this journey that I was on. The whole thing with the quotes, it wasn't planned beforehand. The idea actually got sparked in my head when one of my dear friends left this post-it note on my mirror in my dorm the first day that I moved into the dorm. Especially the first couple of days of me moving into this dorm, trying to soak in the whole experience. I was looking around the room, as you usually do when your surroundings are new, especially in the beginning. I was just trying to look around, just to, I guess, kind of realize the fact that I was somewhere completely new. And I just kept on falling over this post-it note that was on my mirror, and it just kept on reminding me of the first day when it was hectic in terms of picking up the keys to get the dorm, because I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday or something like that, and it was really cold, but it was a beautiful day at the same time, and it was just an adventure in itself. It obviously ended up working out really well. That post-it note just kind of reminded me of that day. Every time I'd look at it, it just gave me a little rush of excitement, and it just reminded me that it was the beginning of a new chapter in my life as well. It kind of made me want to try to see if I could remember each day like that. It just made me wonder, what if I write something down each day? Will it give me sort of the same rush? That's kind of how it all started.
Only I thought I knew you. What's happened to you? You're not the same. Only why don't you own up? You're not yet grown up. Why play a game? The losers will find you if you let them. Don't try to get them before your time. Only don't lose what you got by being something you're not.
I'm sure you guys know the feeling of going somewhere new and you're just soaking everything in. You're soaking your surroundings in, and yeah, just looking around and being very curious. You easily remember each day apart from each other. You easily remember what you were doing that specific day or the day after. If you guys try to remember a trip you were on where you're like, oh yeah, you were maybe gone for like 5 days, you can kind of put together what you were doing each day of the trip. But eventually all the days start to blend in as they sort of become a part of your everyday life. It just really becomes hard to determine each individual day more and more. It just becomes very hard. I guess that was also one of the reasons that I wanted to write these quotes, was because I wanted to remember each day. I didn't want to experience the days blending in as I was settling somewhere new. So yeah, I thought writing something each day will help me remember the days more. The short answer to this is no, it cannot completely eliminate this. Sadly, days blending in will always happen unless you're constantly moving, I believe, but it gave me much more than I was expecting. It's a different day now. I've taken all my old post-it notes out. I saved them. I brought them all back to Denmark, and I've kind of just been looking through them and trying to see if I could remember what I was doing on certain days. Definitely feel like I can remember some of the things I was going through or whatever I was doing. I remember this quote. It was, sometimes people forget their roots, kind of just refers to what I was going through that day. One of my friends was in the city and didn't reach out to me or anything, and I don't know, it kind of hurt me a little bit. It's not a very good memory, but it's not something that I forget, because I feel like it's important to remember your roots. But that is a story for a different time. I have another quote here. It says something in Danish, but it basically says that doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever will. But I just remember I was talking to my friend on the phone, and it was something that he had just realized. I feel like it really helped him, and in the moment it kind of helped me realize some things that I needed to realize at the time. I remember that day. I remember that conversation for sure. Comparison is the thief of joy, is what it says here on this quote. This is the first one that I wrote myself, and I think it's kind of just one of my all-time favorite quotes, because I just feel like it's important not to compare yourself, and I'm so bad at comparing myself to others. I do it so much, and it takes the fun out of everything, and it just makes it seem as if you're not good enough, especially with this whole YouTube thing, with subscriber amounts, and you feel like you're doing it all right, but in comparison to others you're just failing. But anyways, I always like to keep that quote in the back of my mind. I have this quote here. I said actor for a day on here. Actually, I haven't even made a video about this. I was basically hired to be a background skater for this German TV show. I'm not really sure when it's gonna come out. Even if it is already out, I'm not even sure. But yeah, I think I'm gonna make a video about this in the future or something like that. Also have this quote here that says, suck the marrow out of life. I know these quotes are all kind of random, but they were just certain things that I was doing, specific days or something like that. And I also love this quote. It was actually because I was reading a book at the time called Dead Poet Society. They've made a movie about it as well. It's a very important message from that movie or book, whatever you prefer. I'd highly encourage you guys to go watch it if you haven't. I remember that was, just the time when I was reading that book, and I wrote that. Yeah, I think another quote, which is also from that book, was old habits perpetuate mechanical living. That's kind of true to a degree. If you're staying in the same routine and you have things that you do ever so often, they kind of perpetuate mechanical living, and I don't believe that life is supposed to be lived like that. That's just my personal opinion. It's hard to snap out of it, obviously, but it is what it is. Obviously, writing these quotes every day and trying to remember every single day, it's not always going to feel the same as it did in the beginning, where it was exciting. I was like, oh, what am I going to write today? What's this day gonna be like? It kind of ended up being something I felt obligated to do. I felt like, oh shit, now I have to figure out something to do that specific day to be able to remember it properly. I probably should have just stopped then. Ended up just keeping on writing the quotes, and I'm kind of happy that I did so. I was stubborn, so I kept on writing, and I'm happy I wrote until the end of my journey in Berlin. All these quotes are sort of like artifacts of what I was doing each day. They kind of represent going on adventures and stuff. It's definitely cool to look back at. It might honestly be something that I'm gonna start up again if I were to go somewhere. Writing these quotes, it actually just really sparked an interest in journaling for me. I remember thinking that at the beginning of that year, I was talking to somebody who was journaling, and I was like, man, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. What's that gonna help me with? But I'm so happy that I somehow got into journaling. Every morning when I would wake up, I still aimed at writing a quote before I had to go to university, or if I was going skating, I'd tried to see if I could force myself to write a little quote. Like I said before, it isn't possible to eliminate the days blending together, but it definitely helps with eliminating it to a certain degree. Writing these specific quotes, they kind of gave me focus points for each day. Instead of having a scattered mind, being stressed about a whole bunch of different things, it kind of just gave me okay, this is one focus point. I just have to focus on, for instance, doing something I enjoy at least once a day. Like this quote says right here. For me, that could be going to get coffee or bike riding while listening to music, whatever it may be. I think the end goal of all of this was just to try to be better and try to up my life quality and try to be more happy about myself. I really feel like it helped me for a while, but like I said, I got a little bit bored with it at last. All good things have to come to an end, so I ended up stopping as soon as I moved back to Denmark. It didn't really make sense for me to keep on writing it. I would love to hear if there's somebody out there who's tried something similar or different methods in order to eliminate the days blending together. Please let me know in the comments if you guys have any methods for this, because I would love to hear what you guys have tried. If you haven't tried any methods before, maybe this is a good way to sort of start off. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video very much. I'll see you guys next Friday.